Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Infinite Snap podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Richie, also known as ShadowDTV. We've got my boy Justin here, as always. How you doing, Justin?
Very good, very good.
I hear you've been playing some Marvel Snap.
Yeah, I've been still playing a ton of Marvel Snap, which
Yep.
is good. What about you?
Yeah. I kind of like. There's a little bit of a hiatus the last season, but I've been playing a fair bit this season. All the new cards, lots of new decks coming out, which has just made the game. It's kind of reinvigorated the joy of playing Marvel Snap. So that's been pretty fun so far. Let's go through the topics that we've got today. There's a ton of stuff. Like, it feels like we had a global launch, and then like a month and a half later, 2 months now, we're just getting tons of, like, every week there's something happening in Marvel Snap, which is really cool. So we're going to go through the featured locations and the hot location for this week. We're going to take a look at some meta decks in Marvel Snap. The Marvel Snap Zone posted a really cool meta tier list. Knull dropped today, so you can now unlock Knull in the in pool 5, so you could unlock it on the in a cache, or you could buy it with your collector's tokens. So we're going to discuss that. Cosmetic bundles. There's a bunch of them coming out at the moment. We're going to discuss the pricing of them, what our thoughts are on them, if they're a good value for money, and a couple of things that they can that buying these bundles will achieve. We're going to go through... So there was a song that dropped this week that was kind of interesting. I feel like most people who follow Marvel Snap Twitter or other social medias probably heard about it. And of course, the big news of the week, Marvel Snap winning... Oh, dude, spoiler alerts, no. Marvel Snap did win the Game Awards Best Mobile Game for 2022, which is like absolutely huge. We discussed on the podcast if we thought it had a chance of winning with the ridiculous hat. So we're going to discuss the big award that they won as well. So that's really, really cool. All right, let's roll that intro and get straight into today's topics. Okay, so Justin, been playing some Marvel Snap, so have I. I have been playing a cool deck that we'll go through in a moment. What deck have you been playing this week?
I have been smashing Silver Surfer.
Silver Surfer, hey, it's a pretty good card.
Yep. Pretty good card. Silver Surfer came out the day of our last podcast, so I hadn't really mucked around with it too much.
Of course.
Yeah, I've been playing it ever since then. Really good card. Probably, maybe one of the best cards, or the best card, maybe apart from Wave, that has come out with the season pass.
Interesting. Well, we'll definitely talk about Silver Surfer, because I'm not playing a Silver Surfer deck now, but I did early in the week when the card came out. Very cool card, like you said. I think it was a great sort of card for the season pass. Cool character as well, so I'm pretty happy with Silver Surfer so far. Why don't you take us through the actual, your Silver Surfer deck?
So let me bring it up real quick.
Tell everyone what Silver Surfer does.
So Silver Surfer is a 3-cost card with 0 power, and he reads something along the lines of, give your other 3-cost cards
on reveal.
plus 3 power.
On reveal.
Sorry,
that's important.
On reveal, give your other 3-cost cards plus 3 power.
Yep. So
awesome card.
Yeah, so you're essentially, while you bring up your deck, you're essentially getting all your 3-cost cards out. Even if you can find ways to make them cheaper, can be handy, and then playing Silver Surfer to, I guess, buff all of those cards.
Yeah, correct. So originally, when I had a Silver Surfer deck that I made myself, I just dropped a bunch of 3-cost cards. Yep. Silver Surfer, Wong, Mystique, and Sarah.
Yep.
What I found with that was, it was a really good deck, but there was so much. I was coming up against so many Cosmos, and you drop Wong on turn 4, they have a chance to Cosmo.
Yeah.
Then even if they don't, you drop Mystique on turn 5.
Yep.
Then they just have another massive chance to Cosmo, and then by turn 6, like I swear, maybe 50% of games, it was just like blocked with Cosmo.
Yeah, and you just lose.
Yeah. So then I started playing this deck, which is actually it's actually a tier 1 deck on the tier list.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So it's called Spherical Surfer.
Yep.
So it's got Nova and
Hang on, I'll bring it up.
Killmonger.
I'll bring the
You
deck
can
up
bring
if
it
we're
up.
going to talk about it. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure this is the deck I kind of played as well.
Yeah.
So let's bring it up. So there it is.
That's the one. So you've got Nova, which synergizes with Killmonger. So the Nova's just like an easy one drop, get it out early.
Yep.
And then Killmonger's like, you know, your 3-cost card, which gets buffed by a Silver Surfer.
Yep.
You've got Forge in there for like a 2-drop. Forge pairs really well with Brood. So Forge will give Brood +2 power.
Yep.
And then the Broodlings also get +2 power. So they become like, you know, 3 Broods with 4 power each.
Already, yep.
Goose is, I never thought of playing Goose, but I've never played Goose before, to be honest, but really good card in this deck, because your only card above 3 cost is Sarah.
Yeah.
So you can drop Goose in one lane, and like they can't get like a massive amount of power.
Yes.
And you can, because you can just drop Goose with Brood. That's like 2 cards that you're committing there, and you can buff Brood with Silver Surfer, and it's like almost like insta win for that lane.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you've got Cosmo in this deck. Again, Cosmo's just like a 3-cost with a bit of disruption.
Yep.
He gets buffed by Silver Surfer. Obviously, you don't want to play Silver Surfer in the same lane, but often the thing that I was doing is I'd play Goose in one lane, Cosmo in another lane, and that's just like heaps of disruption for your opponent.
Yep.
And then on that Cosmo lane, also synergizes with some cards like Maximus.
Yes.
Maximus is a 3-cost, 7 power, but your opponent draws 2 cards.
So
that's on reveal.
Yep.
So you stop that. And also massive power with Maximus.
Yeah.
You've got Juggernaut and Storm in there, which is the classic Storm on turn 3, and then when your opponent tries to commit to that location, you Juggernaut. So then their cards, get
pushed away
to another pushed away to another location. You have Polaris there, which is interesting. What did I often do with Polaris?
I think
Polaris is good, obviously, because it's just like a 5 power 3 cost, so it gets buffed.
And I think another thing with Polaris is like if you Storm and they play like a couple like a 1 or 2 cost, and you can just pull it out.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And then also like they'll play, you know, you play Goose in one lane, then they play like, you know, 1 or 2 drops in that location, and you can pull them out with Polaris.
I think it's great.
It's pretty good. And then Sarah just enables you to play
every
3
deck.
of your three of your 3-cost cards on turn 6 because they all reduce to 2 cost. Man, it's such a good deck. I had so much success with this deck. Probably the past like 5 days, or for 5 days since maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, I was playing this deck.
Yep.
And I went from rank like 70 to 80 with this deck.
Very nice.
Pretty quickly. It was pretty good. But I don't know if we want to go through it now, but I actually unlocked Bast yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Finally got enough tokens, so I've been playing the top deck.
Okay, let's have a look at the other one. Yeah, we'll look at it now. Because you have been playing it. So the Negative Surfer.
Negative Surfer.
Yep.
Yep. So this deck, I also tried to put Mr. Negative and Silver Surfer in the same deck myself originally, which did work, but Bast just makes it so much better.
Yeah.
So Bast has the on reveal, which reads all of cards in hand. Set the power of all cards in your hand to 3.
Yep.
And you have a lot of low power cards in hand in this deck, so they all go to 3. So it just enables things even as simple as Adam Warrior. You know, he goes from a 2/0. At the end of your turn, you draw a card if you're winning that location.
Yep.
You know, he doesn't do much on his own, but with 3 power, he does. Forge again with Brood.
Yep.
Mojo is pretty good because you're often filling all your locations most of the time, especially with Brood and Mr. Negative.
Yes.
Mr. Fantastic and Mystique and a Rogue and Wolfsbane at your 3 costs along with Brood.
Yeah.
They'll get buffed by Silver Surfer. And then there's your Mr. Negative. So it's a really good deck.
I think the synergy between Mr. Negative and Bast is really good because Bast is buffing cards in your hand, and then Mr. Negative is only swapping the cards in deck. So Bast doesn't actually like Like it's not like an anti-synergy with Mr. Negative. They kind of work perfectly together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing about both of these decks is you don't necessarily like Silver Surfer is not your win condition. He like if you
I
play
mean,
him
it
end
kind of
game,
is.
he kind of is, but it's not. You don't have Wong in this deck,
Yep.
or the other one, and I
Yep.
think that Wong just made the deck so predictable.
Yeah, for sure.
And your opponent could shut it down, whereas these two decks don't play Wong at all, but they still work so well. And with Mr. Negative in this deck, if you can get a 0-5 Iron Man and a 0-3 Mystique,
Yep.
it's game over pretty much.
So I think that's the point we make a lot about the game is that in Marvel Snap, it's not about who gets the most power. It's about whose deck is the least predictable.
Yeah.
And that's like would you rather win 2 cubes every game because your opponent, you snap, they play a turn and then they go, oh, you've won, retreat. Or, you pull out all the stops on turn 6, your opponent couldn't even see it coming and you get 8 cubes. That's generally, you want to con your opponent into, you're bluffing them into thinking that they're going to win and you want to be able to always win those games. So I think this deck does that in a way where, like, when you have Wong, it's very obvious, okay, Wong Mystique, oh, they're going to do something crazy, I'm going to retreat now. Or I'm going to block it with Cosmo. Whereas they don't know where you're going to play Silver Surfer. They don't know where Iron Man's going to go. Like, they actually, your opponent doesn't actually know what your plays are. So I think that's definitely why, this deck is good. As well as the other Silver Surfer deck. Now, I think the other Silver Surfer deck, more people will be able to build it because this one you obviously need Bast, which is a pool 5 card. So you will also need Bast for this deck. So I think the fact that you can just buy Silver Surfer Season Pass, buy the Season Pass, and just play a deck, like a tier 1 deck straight away is pretty cool.
Yeah.
For sure.
Also, just want to point out, like, the stats on this deck, 2.8 average cost, which is
so
nothing.
Low. Yeah.
And 0.8 power.
Yep.
But it just shows how unpredictable this deck is. Like 0.8 power.
Yeah, but you got to remember, it's a Mr. Negative deck.
Half of those decks, half of those stats you can flip, and Bast enables that even more.
Like if we look at the other version of the deck, it's going to be a very different story. I think, like, what's this one? Like 2.8 power. So they're very different decks in what they're trying to do. But, I mean, they're kind of centered around Silver Surfer as a card. It's really cool. It's making a lot of these sort of, like, mid sort of 3 cost cards being used a lot more. I mean, a lot of these cards were already being used, but I think it just enables them a lot more. I've been having fun with Silver Surfer as well. Any more to say on Silver Surfer? Top card? 5 out of 5?
It's a 5. It's definitely a 5 out of 5. It's a really good card.
Do you reckon it gets nerfed at some point?
I think it probably will get nerfed at some point.
Yeah?
Even if it's something as simple as, give your 3 cost cards +2 instead of +3.
Okay, yep, all right, interesting.
Because I think it'd still be viable.
Yeah, maybe give him like 1 power or something.
Yeah, potentially.
Yep. Cool. All right. So that is Silver Surfer. We've both been checking out some Silver Surfer decks. I have actually been trying out the last day or so. I've actually been trying out this pretty cool Leech deck. I'm not exactly sure if Derigen... So that's where I found the deck. So big shout out to Derigen. I don't actually know if he created the deck. I think he might have, but I can't... I couldn't actually find anything else, so I went with this. I'm gonna say that pioneer of the deck. Basically, you saw this deck list, didn't you, Justin?
We were talking about it in the chat today with our other friends. So that's where I saw it. I don't really think I've seen it on while I've been playing.
Chat literally just said Leech Leader has taken over the ladder.
Yeah,
dude, this deck is dumb. I like. One of our friends was saying they're like, oh, I can't win with this deck. And then I was like complete opposite experience where I was not losing with this deck. So basically it seems like when you look at the actual deck list, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, like cool. But you're basically just, your aim is basically to get a bunch of power, play leader, and you just win from there. But like things like Sunspot, turn 1, it's fine if you don't get to play anything for the next couple of turns, you're getting power there. Scorpion is lowering your opponent's power, so making sure that you're still getting high power on your side. Armor's there to, I guess, just block like destroyer decks. So if they need to destroy things, you just straight up block them. Lizard, again, just trying to get the most power. Thor, if you can draw into Mjolnir, then you're getting a ton of power. Maximus, again, 7 power. Your opponent's drawing 2 cards, but you really, it's not really affecting you that much if you're just getting tons of power out there. Shang-Chi is just there to destroy big things. Doesn't come up as often as like other cards you're going to play. White Queen is just to steal a card from your opponent. If they're playing this sort of deck, like you could steal something like Leader if you don't draw it, but you can also steal like, it's more about information than actually using the card most of the time, which we've spoken about before. I had games where I like took their Apocalypse and I'm like, cool, they have Apocalypse. I play Leech, turn 5, shut down their deck. And the reason that the combo is so powerful is if I Leech, say I'm winning 2 of the 3 locations, I play Leech on turn 5, all of my opponent's cards do nothing now. Okay, they're just they're just numbers. So then when I play Leader, all the cards I'm playing should just keep me in the lead.
Yeah.
Because their abilities aren't actually activating. Like, it's not like they play, Mjolnir and Thor all of a sudden gets extra power, or they play a card like Magneto that moves your cards around. You're just shutting down everything. So, and then you've got Arrow there to move cards around, and you've got Magneto there to move cards around. If you don't get Leader, you can still win that way. Like, there's games where I'll be winning 2 of the 3 locations, and I'll play Magneto at the 3rd location that I'm losing to just pull cards away. Or I could be losing locations, but I know Magneto's going to pull those 3 and 4 cost cards away for the win.
Yeah.
Or Arrow.
Does Leech enable this deck to work? Like, I feel like
100%.
it's just a bunch of cards thrown together, but Leech kind of...
Leech is the enabler purely because you're making your Leader play. As long as you've got 2 of the 3 locations, 90% of the time you just win because they play cards. As long as you've got the space, obviously, they're going to play cards with no abilities. So, you think about all of the different decks that we play. There's not really any decks where you just play a card and a big power card to win. They're playing Patriot on turn 6. They're playing, Magneto on turn 6. You're playing, like, any turn 6 card usually has a powerful ability. If you just stop them from using that, like I had a game where my opponent had Apocalypse. I saw Apocalypse with White Queen. So I had it in my hand. Like, I'm like, okay, they have Apocalypse. Turn 5, I played Leech. They played Lady Sif, and they discarded their Apocalypse.
Oh, no.
And they just lost their Apocalypse, and they retreated straight away. It was hilarious. Good. But even, like, say it's a Patriot deck, and it's a Patriot deck because you've seen a bunch of cards without abilities. Turn 6, they're going for Patriot Mystique. You play Leech on turn 5, auto loss. Again.
Okay, but Patriot deck, then all of their cards just have no abilities. If they've already played Patriot, you're enabling them to win?
No. So it's only the cards in their hand that have no abilities.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, I'm saying like your turn 6, you're playing Leech to shut down their turn 6.
Yeah. So, it is pretty good. I even think of it against the decks that I had. You're playing Silver Surfer on turn 6, and it just shuts it down. It's a 3-0.
And then there's the part where, like, so for instance, like that Apocalypse game, I shut down their Apocalypse play, but they had Chavez. So like, well, if I play Chavez, I just win. And then my Leader, which was true if I didn't play Leader and just took their Chavez. Yeah. So it's kind of like, yes, you're not always getting to that turn 6 like end game, but like Leech Leader is just ridiculous. It's just Leech always seemed like a bad card until yes, you're saying like these other cards are just there, but you think like turn 1, like say turn 2 Scorpion, turn 3 Maximus, turn 4 White Queen. That's already a lot of power on the board.
Yeah, I think all these cards are just high stats.
That's right. That's your aim.
You're not worried. The first 3 turns, it looks like you're not worried about anything that your opponent's doing. No. Like you're with Maximus, you're letting your opponent draw cards.
Yep.
With Lizard, you're showing your opponent that they can reduce your power there if they want to. With Sunspot, you're chucking it on the board for stats.
This is the thing with Lizard. They try and shut down Lizard, and then you just play Arrow or Magneto and just get Lizard that power back. Yeah. And I pretty much like, it's weird, but I always tend to end up with Mjolnir when I play Thor on turn 3 because you're drawing into cards. I generally get it.
Yeah.
And so, like turn 6, doing like a leader play and Mjolnir to buff the Thor that they're not expecting, it's pretty nuts. Chat is saying at like 80% win rate. Only decks it has issues with is like Kazoo and like Patriot. As pretty much,
Yeah.
pretty much anything that's like a big turn 6 play, you just shut down. So
Do you have issues with playing leader on turn 6 in terms of space on the board?
So that's the thing. So because you're playing high-powered cards, you're not actually playing a lot of cards.
Yeah. Okay.
So I might have 2 cards in one lane, 2 cards in another lane, and then leader turn 6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like you can play Mjolnir at leader's position. Basically, if you're winning 2 locations, unless your opponent swarms the board on turn 6 and your leader kind of fails in that you don't have room, yeah, sure. But it's pretty crazy. Like, it's weird because all of these cards have always been accessible.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of in the like, and this is the thing with metas and people building different decks, and like depending on what decks people are playing, things always change. I can't. Yeah, it's just fun. It's fun. I feel kind of bad sometimes.
Yeah, I've played a leader deck before, and I felt like they're so fun to play.
Yeah.
I just felt like sometimes, depending on what deck your opponent was playing, sometimes it could just ruin you. Like if they're playing Destroyer, then you leader the Destroyer, destroy all your cards. But Leech just shuts that down to an extent.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. So that's the thing with leader. Like if you play leader and they play a bunch of cards that help themselves, but you don't get those benefits, then yeah, it's bad. But if Leech just turns their cards into numbers, and so if you're winning the numbers game, leader just ensures you win that numbers game. I think there's nothing wrong with these cards. It's just the interaction with Leech and leader is pretty strong. And then Arrow and Magneto.
Seems like a good deck.
Arrow and Magneto are like your backups. Like I'm winning games without playing Leech or leader as well because I play Arrow to pull cards away. I play Magneto to pull the cards away to the bad location. Like sometimes I pull their 3 and 4 cost cards and Magneto still wins that location. But even if he loses, the other 2 are generally winning it. I reckon test it out. I'm having fun with it. I was playing tons of Silver Surfer, and I might go back to that. But yeah, this it's fun. It's cool. Yeah.
I also went back to just a little bit. I played a Devil Dino deck.
Yep.
And this Devil Dino deck has Arrow in it and a couple of other cards.
Okay.
And man, I'll talk about it in the next podcast.
For sure.
It's pretty crazy. I won a lot of games.
Yeah, send me the list. We'll check it out and we'll talk about it next week. Shang-Chi also like pretty useful in that leader deck is against Devil Dino, really. Like Devil Dino comes out, you can generally delete that with Shang-Chi if you need to. Cool.
Yeah, it seems like a good deck. I'm also just thinking, Leech enables them to play something like Infinite on turn 6. But
that's the only thing.
If you're playing leader, then you're also getting that Infinite. Like, that's
the thing. Like when you're playing Leech, you generally want to follow it up with leader. Like that's your game plan because you're exactly right. If you leech them and then don't follow up with leader, they can just pull out an Infinite.
Yeah.
Cool. So Knull dropped today. You can now get Knull the card in Pool 5, so you can unlock it in your collector's caches, or you can get it with your collector's tokens. It'll be 6,000 tokens. Is that right? Pool 5 card.
Yeah, it's
pricey.
Insane.
So some things I've been seeing is we've only gotten these new cards very recently. It's very unlikely that a lot of people have all of them unless they are big whales and they spend lots of money and they play a lot and they've got a ton of collector's tokens. But other than that, I'd say most people don't even have wouldn't even have all the Pool 4 cards, let alone also Pool 5. So this release of Knull seems interesting in that it's not like, hey, we've all finished Pool 3, let's get some new cards. It's now, hey, here's Pool 4 and 5, you aren't going to unlock them all yet. Hey, here's more cards. How many people are actually going to be getting Knull? I guess unless you saved for Knull, are people getting Knull today?
Yeah, look, I thought about this because when I bought Bast yesterday, I had him pinned in the shop for a couple of days and I was just waiting to get enough tokens. Finally cracked 6K tokens and I'm like, all right, here's a choice that I face. I either buy Bast, who is, arguably maybe one of the best card that has come out in Series 4 or 5, or one of at least. Or Knull is coming out today. Do I wait and then wait for
It has to
Knull
appear
to
in
come
your
in the
store.
shop. Then
Yeah.
it has to appear in my store, but then I can buy Knull as soon as I get it in the store.
Yep.
Man, I don't know. I feel like not a lot of people, because Series 4 and 5 have just dropped, everyone's spending their tokens.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people will buy Knull. Like, I don't think they will be able to.
So it feels weird because, like, I think of any other card game, when there's a new expansion or let's say new cards, everyone is just getting them straight away. Like, you're buying them.
Yeah.
You're going out, you're getting the cards. If it's like a digital card game, you're buying as many packs to get all the cards. You're crafting the cards. In this instance, unless you have all of the pool 4 and 5 cards, Knull doesn't just automatically even show up in your collector's shop, like your collector's shop. Like if they said, hey, every time we release a new card, it'll be available in the shop for like, 48 hours or something. Yeah, it still costs 6,000 tokens, but at least you would be able to target it, I guess.
Yeah.
Whereas continue.
I support second dinner 100%. I like this.
Yes. Okay.
I don't want Knull to be available to everyone. I want it to trickle through.
So then instead of dropping a card every week, do you just drop them all at the start of the month, or?
Yeah, but then it's really overwhelming and there's less hype during the month.
I guess so.
You know what I mean?
I guess if it's a new card every week, that's like the hype of the week.
It keeps it exciting,
but we're not going to see the card.
Yeah, but it's just content. Yeah, but you...
What content? I can't get the card.
All right. For instance, Silver Surfer.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Silver Surfer came out.
Yep.
All I saw for maybe 4 or 5 straight days was Silver Surfer decks.
Yeah.
And like that's cool. Everyone loves a new card.
That's because
everyone's playing it.
But here's my thing. That's because everyone can get Silver Surfer right now.
Correct.
Yes.
Knull comes out. No one can get him. So if you do get him, and if you do get to play with Knull, it feels so good.
It's pretty special.
Also, personally, I just say I don't have Knull. I get to see from other people if Knull is good or not, and then when I do have enough tokens, I can then make a decision whether I want to buy Knull or not.
Okay, yes, for sure. Think about content creation. For people that make content, they have to go out of their way to get Knull or spend money to get Knull. Like for us here on the podcast, we haven't played with Knull. It's not like, hey, new season, we bought the new season pass, we've got the card, we can actually discuss it with first-hand experience. I don't have first-hand experience with Knull, and I probably won't for a very long time if I want to get other pool 4 and 5 cards.
Yeah, I know, but I enjoy the way that they bring the cards out, and the consumer comes first in my eyes, not the content creators.
Yeah, which is fine, which for sure. But would you not, like, as a consumer, do you not want things now?
Yes and no. I don't want to unlock all my cards.
I know
right
you
now,
don't,
no.
But I'm saying a majority of people, like if new content comes to a video game, hey, the latest expansion for a game's come out, but you have to wait maybe 3 to 6 months before you can play with it. It's just, I don't know. It's just, it's a weird, like card acquisition. Yes, this is how Marvel Snap's card acquisition is, but it just seems weird that it's like, hey, new card. And there wasn't even a big announcement about it. There was like nothing, like there was no huge, hey, this is coming today. It was just, hey, here it is. Like there was no announcement.
I just don't think it's a bad thing. Like you're making these points, or like not just you, but everyone's making this point because that's what they're used to, and that's what all the other games are doing. But Marvel Snap's not like all the other games, and maybe that's not what they want to do.
So do you just not announce that the new cards are coming and just let them appear, and just everyone's surprised, like, whoa, new card? Is that not just like, because no one's getting hyped about it because they can't really get it?
Well, that's kind of what they're doing. I mean, there's no hype around Knull. I haven't heard anyone speak about it.
I saw our good friend, a guest of the show, Roger Tronic, tweeted, it's like, can anyone actually afford to buy Knull? And I'm like,
yeah,
that's a good question, because if you, especially for people that whaled, they spent tons of money to get, like, bought bundles, got as many collector's tokens as they could, they still don't just instantly get all the cards. So it feels like, I feel like we needed pool 4, pool 5, here you go. And then 3 months later, or a month 2 months later, 3 months later, they start dropping weekly cards. Because it feels like we just got these. I haven't even played with more than like 2 or 3 of these cards. And now all of a sudden there's new cards coming every week.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Drugos says, what does Knull even do? Let's actually...
That's a great question.
Yeah, that is a great question. So
Knull
has an ongoing ability.
Yep.
Actually, really interesting that
It
that
is.
is ongoing. And it says, has the combined power of all cards destroyed this game.
That's right. So you
Wow, I thought that was on reveal. That is ongoing.
It's ongoing. So you're basically playing destroy decks, trying to like Venom get destroy a bunch of things, Deadpool, trying to think what else. You're basically playing like your classic. But the thing is, which I kind of saw. Actually, I've got a deck here. Let's bring up this deck list.
Yeah, bring up the
this
deck.
gives a bit of an example of, I guess, how you could play this deck. So, like, for instance, you've got Knull here. You'd have, so Arnim Zola Knull. It's kind of like your classic Venom, like Venom Arnim Zola, Black Panther Arnim Zola. So you'd play Magic, I guess, so you can play Knull on turn 6, Arnim Zola turn 7, and duplicate Knull. So, like, things with Death, you can probably get Death out for free or quite cheap. Venom's going to be destroying things. Nova's going to be giving power for you to then destroy things. Deadpool, if you can get Deadpool destroyed a few times. So you could get Knull to a pretty high number and then Arnim Zola.
Yep.
Like if you're eating a death with like Venom will be 13 power. Knull's going to get that 12 power plus everything else. Then duplicating with Arnim Zola. It seems cool.
Yeah, I think the Venom really enables Knull to like go crazy because you're getting the stats on Venom, and then you're basically just duplicating that -1 for Knull.
No, not even. You're duplicating that plus everything else. Has the combined power of all cards destroyed this game?
Yeah, all cards destroyed. Yeah.
So say Venom destroys Death, that's 12. And say with Carnage you destroyed Bucky and Nova and, I don't know, Deadpool. Killmonger kills a bunch of cards. Knull will get all of that.
Yeah, correct.
So, like, if Killmonger kills 5 cards on your opponent's side, Knull will get all that power.
Yeah.
Like, you kill the Nova, kill the Deadpool. He could get to some high numbers. As you said, Venom also would be at a decent number, and then you Arnim Zola Knull to get it on 2 other locations. It seems good, but I feel like a lot has to happen for it to work every game.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes, like, I might be better off just going, like Wong, Black Panther, Arnim Zola. Like, probably the same, if not better.
I think it's a little bit different just because of Venom, because you can still get huge stats with Venom.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
And then also get them with Knull.
Yep, for sure.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. I don't think it's like super broken card at the moment, but I do think it is a good card. Shout out to Jeff Hoogland who posted this deck. So I think it's like, again, we're not really going to know until people have played with the card, and there's not going to be a ton of people that are playing with the card yet. So we'll have to wait and see. But
thoughts on a Galactus Knull deck?
Yeah, so I think Jeff actually posted a Galactus Knull deck.
That just sounds insane.
Well, someone posted one. Let me have a look. Here we go. So you've got Knull with Galactus. Yeah, you've got Wave to get Galactus out early. You've got Shang-Chi to destroy things. It's interesting.
You also got Electro to enable Galactus.
To enable Galactus, yeah, sorry. Yep. The thing is destroying. How much are you actually destroying with this deck?
Well, basically all the cards that you play and your opponent plays.
Oh, sorry, Galactus destroys everything, yeah.
Yeah. So all the cards you and your opponent play up to turn 4.
Yeah, so you cheat out.
Have the combined power.
So you can even use Doc Ock with Electro to pull cards onto the field. So you use Doc Ock, pull cards.
Electro turn 3.
Yeah.
Doc Ock turn 4. And if that doesn't work out in your favor, then you can actually
it does.
Sorry.
It does because you're going to kill them all.
Then Galactus on a separate location and then Knull. Yeah. And a death will also be at 0 cost.
This is more interesting to me than the other deck.
Yeah.
This is way more interesting. But again, Galactus pool 5, Knull pool 5. It's expensive cards.
Yeah, 12,000 tokens that I don't have.
Woo, that's expensive. So I think it's cool card, but there's so many other cards right now. Is this the one that we're going for? I mean, it would have been nice to get the other cards and then start thinking about Knull, but I feel like every week it's just going to be new card, discuss new card. Hey, I haven't actually played with it. And like I feel like there's a very small amount of people that are able to play the game for 6 hours a day and drop, $100 on the game, like all the time. You know what I mean? There will be people for sure that do that, and it's cool and it's great for them. But this is where I get into the territory of people go, oh, I don't want to spend like $100, $200 on Hearthstone every 4 months. But now if I want all these cards, I would have to spend way more than that. And it comes back to the whole, again, you're not supposed to.
I think it
comes back to this, you're not supposed to do that.
The point of Marvel Snap that like they've bombarded us with pool 4 and 5 cards and now dropping like a card a week.
Yep.
Because they don't want everyone to have all of the cards available to them.
But my counter argument is if I spend enough money and play the game enough, I can get them all.
So you're saying it's pay to win?
I'm not saying it's pay to win because none of these cards I would classify as like breaks the meta. But just say we're talking about, I just want all the cards. Doesn't matter if it's for competitive or to win games. If I play the game enough to get the collector's tokens and spend enough money to go up, like I could just buy credits. If I was just maxing that out every day, I'm spending a ton of money to get the cards faster than everyone else.
Yeah.
And it goes back to that. Would I rather just pay $100 and get all the cards? Probably.
Then it takes the fun out of the game.
That's the argument. Does that take the fun out of the game? But it also means there could be someone like sitting down right now with all 16 of the new cards. That's like, yeah, cool, I'm going to get Knull next. And they're just getting to play with all the content now because they put in the time and spend a ton of money. I just don't like the money. I love the progression thing that we're discussing. That is cool. And I've agreed that I enjoyed that in pool 3. Now I'm at the point where even if I'm not buying these with collector's tokens, or say I am buying them with collector's tokens, it's still going to take me a ton of time to get them all. And that's the bit that's like, pool 3 felt like a slog. This is going to feel like even more of a slog to get all these cards.
Yeah.
But I guess that they drop to pool 4, like the pool 5 cards become pool 4 eventually. Pool 4s become pool 3s eventually and get cheaper from the collector's tokens. If that happens regularly, like say next month all the pool 4 cards became pool 3, I would feel much better about it, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think, I don't know where I heard this, but I think that there is a maximum capacity for Series 4 and a maximum capacity for Series 5.
Okay.
And then when pool...
Max capacity.
So when pool 5 hits that max cap, then some of those cards will drop to pool 4, and then when pool 4 hits that max cap, some of those will drop to pool 3, and I think that will continue. It could be a bit of time before we see that.
That's
happen.
The thing. What is the time frame? And people in chat are saying I would pay $100 to unlock the whole couple, even if it was $100 just to get these cards. And I know it's part of the experience, but it's like when they throw all this content at you at once, you want the content now. That's how our brains work. Like, why you've given me stuff to play with. When I see that cool deck, that cool Knull deck, and I like don't even have half of the other cards. And we had this argument with pool 3. I'm not saying like this is a new argument because we had this argument with pool 3. The thing is, now I've finished pool 3 and I'm feeling good. I've got all the cards, and now all of a sudden it's like, hey, it could take you another 6 months to get these like 16 cards, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll see how it all plays out. I'm not like too concerned about it right now. I just think we're going to be discussing these new cards each week, and it's going to be like the second-hand experience. Is that the right saying?
Yeah.
It will not be a first-hand experience.
It'd be really interesting to see why they did this. Maybe they think, or maybe they have done like a cost analysis or a revenue analysis, and they think that this is going to get them more money because people will actually spend money to get the whole... I don't know if Second Dinner are thinking in terms of like, obviously they need to make money, but I feel like with Nexus events, they could have just left Nexus events and kept raking in the cash. But I don't think that's their main concern right now. I think their main concern is like, yes, how can we monetize it? I don't think this is their goal to monetize it. And we're going to talk about the bundles that have been showing up in the store later. I think this is more just like
hey, we need to release new cards. We can't just keep adding pools because then we're at pool 10 and the game's too confusing for people. I think it's just a way to, like, because they've put time into making the cards. And I see the point of, if I got all 16 cards right now, in like 2 weeks, a month, I'm going to want more content.
Yeah.
So like I kind of see both sides. It's an interesting conversation, and like I don't think either side is right. Like, hey, I want the cards now, or this is how the game is meant to be played. It's just interesting.
It's very interesting.
Cool. So that is Knull, and we discussed a little bit about the Pool 4 and Pool 5 unlocks. So how about we get into what was next, Justin?
Do we want to get into the bundles? Or
yeah.
do we want to get into the, or do we want to get into the tier list?
Let's have a look at the bundles, because we've been talking about decks a lot. So I've got some of the bundles I've been able to find. So if you've been playing Marvel Snap in the past few weeks, you would have noticed that we had the Apocalypse bundle show up, the Cyber Holiday bundle. So I'll bring that up now. So this is what was in the store. It was for 7,500 gold, which in Australia worked out to, I think the smallest bundle you could buy for 8,000 gold was 160 Australian dollars.
That's a lot of money.
So yes, you unlock gold in game. So I'm not like discounting that, but if we're talking purely like monetary value, this is around 150 Australian dollars, which I guess would be like what, 100 US dollars.
So
it's a lot.
So people in chat are saying that they'd be happy to pay $100 a year to have all of the cards unlocked.
Yeah.
But if Second Din are offering stuff like this, $160 for 9,500 credits, 3,000 collector's tokens, an Apocalypse variant avatar, and boosters, man, that is a lot of money for like the credits. I don't know. When I look at this, I wouldn't pay a lot of money for a variant, even though I'm more than happy to unlock them when I do.
Yep.
Same as avatars and boosters. The collector's tokens are cool, and I feel like that's decent value. Like 3,000 collector's tokens, that's a Series 4 card.
Yep.
The 9,500 credits, that's really good value. I did the math the other day.
Yeah, same.
That's much better than what you're buying credits for just with gold.
No, so it worked out to about the same. So it worked out to 7,600 gold for that many credits. So you're basically getting the collector's tokens, the variant. You're basically getting everything else for free.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you're basically getting everything else for free. So it is actually value for money, but do we want to be dropping $150 on a bundle? And look, again, you could get that 7,500 gold for free just by playing the game. Not saying that or like with the season pass, etc. Not saying you have to spend that kind of money, but it's like, I don't remember a time where I just had a spare 7,500 gold sitting in my account. Like it just, you have to work towards it.
I've been saving my gold up since, I don't know, a while. I'd say like maybe a week before this bundle came out.
Yeah.
In preparation for the Series 4 and 5 cards, because I didn't know how we're going to unlock them exactly just yet.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting at about 4,000 gold.
Yeah, so like you're not even close.
Which is good, but it's like only halfway there.
And there's only like a week left.
Yeah.
So you're not getting this bundle basically.
I'm not getting this bundle.
So chat was saying like I'd be happy to pay $100 a year. I think that's too low. I like thinking about the season pass. If you were to pay $15 a month, I guess that's only like, it's not even $200 a year. Look, I pay to play Hearthstone. I probably spend $100 in expansion every 4 months, plus like passes and stuff. I reckon a reasonable amount would be like $100 every 3 months to have all the cards.
Yeah.
But like, again, it's a lot of money. But then my thing is I look at this bundle and think, well, I'm spending all of that money, say with the credit, say I'm already past pool 3. Say with those credits, I get like a couple thousand collector's tokens and no new cards. I've gotten what, 5,000 collector's tokens and a variant for $150.
Hey, but it's a cool variant.
It is a cool variant. Don't get me wrong. It's cool. It's like, I'm not saying that like bundles are fine. I think bundles are cool. You get a bunch of stuff. It is technically value for money. If we're talking about what you're getting, you are getting more than what you're paying. But again, it's not like, hey, pay 1,000 gold and get or like let's say pay 3,000 gold and get a variant and some collector's tokens. It's like, hey, spend all the money that you have in your account right now that you were going to spend on variants on this bundle. It's interesting. I guess the argument is always going to be they're cosmetics. You don't need to buy this, but I mean, this is currently the only way other than the caches to get collector's tokens. So that argument kind of goes out of the window in the sense that, hey, you want to try the new cards? Buy the bundles.
Yep.
Interesting. Well, let's take a look at the other bundles that are coming to Marvel Snap. There's actually one more that we've already got in the store, which is the Hearts Wild bundle. Now, on this, so the Hearts Wild bundle, different to the Apocalypse bundle where it was only purchasable with gold, this bundle is only purchasable with direct cash, with your money. So, Hearts Wild is 47 Australian dollars. This is actually the Australian price, funny enough.
Yeah.
So you're looking here at 1,500 credits, which is, I think, from what I checked, I think you pay 400 gold for 500 credits. So it's like, what, 1,200 gold? Worth of credits. So you're actually not getting value in the credits this time. Like, you're not just getting some free variants this time, you're actually paying for the variants.
But as we were discussing just before the podcast,
yep,
players who have not unlocked Gambit and Rogue, this may be really valuable for those players.
And here's the thing:
really valuable.
So by purchasing this, you although you won't unlock the base version of Gambit and Rogue, you will have these variants that you can play now and play with the cards. So if you're in pool, you've just bought the game, you're in pool. Oh, sorry, just got the game. You're in pool 1 or you're in pool 2. But even if you're in pool 3, you can get Gambit and Rogue straight away for the small sum of $46.99. So
I feel if they're putting pool 3 variants or pool 3 or above variants in these kind of bundles, I feel like they cannot lower the price because players can just make an account, pay $50, get these awesome pool 3 cards, and run amok on the ladder.
It's interesting, isn't it? I don't know. So look, again, like when it's cosmetics, it's a different discussion because it's purely cosmetic. It doesn't actually affect the game in terms of competitiveness. But this is now like if people buy this in pool 2 or pool 1 even, and they have access to these cards, are they getting matched with people of a higher rank, like higher skill level, or are they still getting like? Imagine you've just started the game and you get paired with a Gambit, and you're like looking up this card, like when the heck do I get this card? I don't know how.
And to be honest, the matchmaking we know is based on your collection level, and unlocking these 2 cards via this $46.99 payment does not advance your collection level.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I kind of see this as a bit of a problem, actually.
So I think for those of us in pool 3 or higher, like finish pool 3 and higher, this is just paying money for skins, yeah? You're just paying money for some variants. It's like not... And that's when the price gets interesting, because I'm like, well, this is just the same as me buying a couple variants.
Yeah.
And I get some credits thrown in as well, but I could just buy the credits, buy some variants. Yeah, it's interesting.
Excuse me, I'm buying over here. And now you are too. So hay fever is a real thing in Australia at the moment.
I've had a tickle in my throat the whole, like, from coughing the whole time, and I needed to mute myself. So bundles are there's a lot of them coming. We've already had like a bunch of other ones leaked, so let's have a look at them. We've got here the Shielded Heart bundle, which is only going to be 5,000 gold.
Yeah, I feel like if they make these bundles a little bit smaller, because like you said, let's be honest, no one's got 7,500 gold in their account for no reason. You're obviously saving up for a bundle. If they have kind of like these bundles where it's, maybe a couple thousand gold, a few thousand gold, like even 5,000 is a bit much. Like no one just randomly has 5,000 gold unless you're saving it up.
Yeah.
So I feel like if they had some smaller bundles, people would actually be keen to buy them.
Yes.
If I had, sometimes I might have like 1,000 gold.
Yeah.
Just because I haven't spent it yet on credits or whatever. And I found a cool bundle in the store, then I would actually buy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like 5,000 is a lot. And what are we getting here? We're getting 3,000 credits, 3 variants, and 3 avatars, and again, Invisible Woman, Doctor Doom, pull 3 cards.
Yeah.
Like this one is pretty good value, especially for obviously those who haven't unlocked Invisible Woman and Doctor Doom, and also because you can actually buy this bundle by not spending actual money because you can unlock the gold in game.
Yeah.
So for pool 1 players, this is probably the most value I've seen.
So again, I like bundles. I think bundles are cool for cosmetics. So when I think of Hearthstone bundles, they'll have like $30 cosmetic bundles for like their battlegrounds game mode and things like that. And I generally don't mind spending that for some cool like visuals. But this just seems like it's for people that aren't in pool 3. It's a little bit of, hey, spend some money, you get a cool card to play with now.
Yeah.
But then for people like us that are already in pool 4, like finished pool 3, and other, early beta, other beta players and, global launch players that have ended their pool 3 collection, you're not getting as much value because you're just getting variants and some credits.
Correct.
You get more value as a new player.
I don't know about you, but like we get just with the season pass, we're getting 7 variants.
Yeah.
And
yep.
we've been getting those 7 variants in the season pass for the past, 4 or 5 months.
Yep.
And then we're also unlocking the random variants that we get from some of the caches. So unlocking these variants, like, yeah, they're cool, but I don't need them.
Yes.
To me anyways, it doesn't seem like I need them.
Which is fun. If all of these were like cosmetics, so say it was, hey, for 3,000 gold, you get this sunspot, you get this title, and you get an avatar. Or even boosters, because boosters no one cares about, because you can just get them.
Yeah.
Something like that, to me, it covers all the cosmetic areas and it doesn't give anyone like an unfair, like you don't just automatically get a brand new card that you haven't unlocked.
Yeah.
Like if this Sunspot bundle was no credits, no collector's tokens, you get the title, the avatar, the card, and the boosters for, let's say, 3,000 gold. That's or 2,000 gold, let's say. That's a different story because now we're talking only cosmetics and sure, boosters, but I mean, does anyone care?
No one cares.
You're getting boosters just for playing the game. 8,000, like getting the collector's tokens is the interesting one for me because credits, sure, you can just buy credits with gold. That's already a thing, but you can't buy collector's tokens yet. So this is actually the only way you can spend money to get tokens.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the selling point for players that have already unlocked, like already have all the cards. That's your selling point. Hey, I get 2,000 collector's tokens. That's almost a new card.
Yeah, plus the 8,000 credits to go with it, which you'll unlock
to get more
maybe
tokens.
Another 1,000 tokens. You know?
But that part doesn't bother me because you can already buy the credits. Like people can already spend money on the credits.
Yeah.
So I don't think of it in that sense. Yeah, it's interesting. And Chat is saying like tokens are now the most sought after like currency. That's what we want now because we get credits for free for playing. We do get collector's tokens, but much they're far few between compared to everything else. So that's the Sunspot bundle. Again, Sunspot is what, a pool 2 card? So like not a big deal. You're not buying it and getting... So one thing I've noticed is... Hang on, let's actually take a look at this. And one thing I want to mention about the prices is it seems to be these are all at different price ranges. Some are only purchasable with gold. Some are only purchasable with money. To me, it seems like they're just testing the waters and figuring out, hey, what's the price points that we can push? People spending gold more than they're just spending outright money. So I feel like this is kind of like a test, currently like a test on how they're going to do bundles because they're all completely different. The one thing I noticed is the bundles that contain pool 3 cards are the ones without collector's tokens. I just noticed that. So Sunspot comes with tokens and Apocalypse comes with tokens. So these two seem to be targeted at, hey, you already have all the pool 3 cards. Hey, get some collector's tokens. Whereas the other bundles are like, hey, new players, get some, like this is the next bundle, Starlit Connection bundle. You unlock Sarah straight away. To be fair, the anime variants are pretty damn cool. But for $50, and I'm assuming I don't think that's in Australian dollars. No, USD, $50. That's wild.
Wow.
You're getting 2 variants, 2 avatars, and 4,000 credits. For someone like us, unless we really, really like the variants, but like for me to buy 2 variants is like what? 1,200, 2,400 gold?
Yeah.
Assuming they're super rares?
Yeah.
Like that's fine. This is like probably 70 Australian dollars, if not more.
You're saying that's fine, but we were complaining about how expensive
Oh, no.
variants were in the
Well,
shop.
my point is that, yes, no, they definitely are. But my point is, like, I don't need the credits. Just put the variant in my store. Like, are these variants going to be available in the variant store?
I would assume they would be. Maybe if
then
they're not now, then eventually.
But then the bundle just doesn't make sense anymore because you could just buy the variants.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, it's interesting. I think the real draw right now is the collector's tokens. And again, I feel like a lot of this is probably going to change. All these prices are different. All the bundles have different things. The fact that some can be purchased with gold and some can't seems like hey, we're just testing things. So I don't think we should look badly on any of this right now. I feel like if in 6 months' time we're getting $100 bundles for cosmetics and collector's tokens, then I'll be like, okay, well, what's going on? But I don't know. It just seems,
There's also that mystic tier of variants. Maybe potentially these variants will end up there,
which makes sense.
I don't think they turn up in the shop. So,
man, it's just. If it was just cosmetics, I'd feel less inclined to be not judgmental. What's the word? Critical of this stuff. But when it's like, hey, you can buy, giving me collector's tokens for money is allowing me to buy cards. And I guess, look, you can buy them with gold, sure, but you generally don't have 6,000 gold just sitting in your account that you've collected. Yeah. You're buying variants, you're doing things. So, yeah, I'm not complaining, I guess. It's just something to... And then, look, there's been tons of discussion about it. Like, people are like, whoa, this bundle's like $50. Like, this bundle's like $150 worth of gold. That's a lot of money for not even a new card.
So, in conclusion... Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. In conclusion, collector's tokens should not be able to be purchased, is what we're saying.
I think if you take the collector's tokens out of this, it becomes, hey, have some credits, and the chances of you've been able to buy credits for the longest time, so that's fine. If you're giving them a discount on credits, that's cool. But the fact that collector's tokens now all of a sudden is, hey, if I buy every collector's tokens bundle, I'm gonna get more pool 4, pool 5 cards. That's buying. I'm now buying cards. Like we're just at.
I can stand by that. I think that they shouldn't be available in the bundles.
Yeah, or you make them or you make the collector's tokens purchasable just like credits, and then people can just spend as much money. But then that they can't, because that defeats the purpose of getting them in collector's caches.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I think I don't have much else to say about it. Cosmetics, if you're spending money on cosmetics, that's people's choices. Like, you don't need the cosmetics. But when I'm given a incentive to spend money to get collector's tokens instantly, it's not even, hey, I might get some collector's tokens if I spend enough credits. This is just a guaranteed, hey, here's 3,000 collector's tokens, go buy a card.
And 3,000 is a lot of collector's tokens. Yeah, that can take you a month to build up.
Yeah, and if you're in pool 3, just buying those 2 bundles buys you 5 cards.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. We'll see how these bundles go in the future. But these are going to be coming to the store. So get your wallets ready if you want these cards.
I'm looking at that sunspot bundle. That is pretty cool, and hopefully by that stage my 4,000 gold will be at
6,000.
6,000. Yeah, I should get there.
And see, that's my thing. I'd be happy to drop a couple thousand gold, or even $20 of actual $20 Australian dollars for a variant and maybe a title and an avatar.
Yeah.
Because it's purely cosmetic. I get some cool stuff, and that's it. It's the same as buying a variant. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Interesting. But those will be coming to the store, guys. Gonna give some pool 3 cards to play access to. Yeah, it'll give players that aren't in Pool 3 some access to Pool 3 cards. Sarah is an absolutely insane card to just give to people. I think that's just absolutely wild. That was my third last Pool 3 card that I naturally unlocked. So I didn't get that card for months and months. I think these will change. I think this is just a testing period, which is, fine. They've got to test things out. That they'll see which bundles get purchased the most, etc. And you can get some collector's tokens. So if you're trying to get all those cards, this is going to be a way to do it. Cool. let's take a look. I guess we'll go through some of the meta. I mean, we don't do a ton of meta talk on the show. So what do you reckon, Justin? We'll go through that.
Yeah, we also need to go through the featured locations, which we haven't done
Did
yet.
we actually not do that?
Oh yeah,
We like
I'm just
completely
looking through some
skipped over it.
tabs that I had open. I'm like, what's this Lamentus one? Oh yeah,
I think because we went into what decks we were playing and then we kind of went
Yeah.
straight into topics. How about we
Yeah.
do that instead? I think that's a better idea. So featured locations for the week, we had Lamentus 1, the 48-hour featured location, shows up in 40% of games on Wednesday, Thursday, sorry.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Justin, what's your thought? Do you want to tell everyone what Lamentus 1 does?
Yeah, so Lamentus 1 reads draw 3 cards, destroy both decks. Lamentus 1 was a really cool location. I think when we saw these locations come up at the start of the season, we saw these locations were coming out. We both said that the locations were good locations in that it doesn't enable one deck to shine. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Maybe some cards that synergize well with that location,
Yep.
such as Thor with Lamentus 1.
Yep.
But it doesn't define the meta. And Lamentus 1 was that. Like, there was some games where Lamentus 1 shows up on the first location and you draw 3 cards and that's it for the rest of the game. Destroy both decks and
Yeah.
you're like, oh wow, so like this is what I've got.
Yep.
I'd say the downside of Lamentus 1 is if you're playing a specific deck and you don't draw the card that you need to win, like you don't draw your win conditions, you're essentially just retreating.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucked. A lot of games ended in retreats. But I think overall, now that it's just in the general pool of locations, it's a pretty good location. I like it. It changes the game, makes it fun.
I think as a location for 48 hours, it was not fun for people.
Yeah.
Purely because it punishes combo-y decks. So if you're playing, like, if I just have a deck with like high power cards, and as long as I have a couple of these in hand, I'm feeling good, it's great. But if you have a deck like a Patriot deck, and you get all the cards without Patriot, the deck, you said,
it means nothing.
all right, I just retreat now because I got a bunch of useless cards in my hand with no abilities. So decks, combo-y decks with like multiple working parts, they can feel really bad for Lamentus 1. Like you said, I think now that it's just in the general pool, it's really cool. When it comes up every now and then, it's like, hey, these are my cards. Who has the better cards? Like, I think we mentioned it's almost like a poker hand. Who has the better poker hand for the game? So that's kind of, I thought it was fine. I saw a lot of people like, I'm putting the game down for the next 24 hours because I do not want to play Lamentus 1. And again, it wasn't, I guess, meta defining in that there was only one deck to play, but I think it did restrict certain decks for sure.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Even like Mr. Negative decks.
Yeah.
Because I think I was playing a deck with Mr. Negative deck. You just like can't play it.
You actually can't.
Like the worst is like, Lamentus 1 comes up and you draw Mr. Negative and then the rest of your deck is destroyed and you go, what? But
yeah, that sucks.
But it's a cool. It's still a cool location. I saw heaps of Thor being played because you play Thor, you're guaranteed to draw the hammer
for sure.
So that was pretty cool. But yeah, it did stop heaps of combo-y decks, like you're saying, like Jubilee means nothing.
Yeah, true. Of course.
Yeah, Lockjaw.
Lockjaw's useless.
Nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, having that in the 24 hours,
48 hours,
48 hours was a little bit bad, but yeah, now it's like it's a good location. It's fine.
I think it's cool now that it's out. It'll be fun when it comes up. Baxter Building was the hot location on Sundays, so 24 hours appeared in 60% of games. Dustin, thoughts on Baxter Building?
Baxter Building is an interesting one. So Baxter Building reads, whoever is winning this location gets +3 power at the others.
Yep.
I often find that people overcommit to Baxter Building and then forget about the other 2 locations.
Yeah.
+3 power at the other locations. It's not like it doesn't win you the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not like the Nexus. Yeah.
Yeah. But still a pretty cool location. You often do want to try and win it if you can, but if you don't, it's not the end of the world. But I don't think that I would build a deck I didn't build a deck to play around this location.
Yes.
It just kind of fits into whatever deck, you know.
It's not a location that like heavily affects your deck choice.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good sort of location for the 24 hours. You know, it doesn't make anyone's Sunday feel bad.
Yeah.
When they're playing Marvel Snap. But yeah, not too much to say about Baxter building, to be honest. Cool. So how about we check out, I'm just checking, I think we've been through pretty much everything except the meta. Actually, the Mobile Game Awards. Marvel Snap, if you're in Marvel Snap, the Marvel Snap world, you probably heard, I mean, or if you're just a gamer, you would have seen some of the, either watched the Game Awards. I was at work at the time, but I listened to most of it. Tons of new game reveals, which was really cool. Couple of games that I'm looking forward to. But Mobile Game Award, me and a Ridiculous Hat was on the show and we discussed Genshin Impact was one of the games that was up against Diablo Immortal, a couple of other mobile games, but Genshin Impact was the big one. The game's been around for a while now, but because it's like a live online game, the way the Game Awards works is as long as they're releasing large content, they can be considered for the award. So I thought that was probably their biggest competition, and I thought it would probably win. But the response from global launch was pretty big. So I think it just helped get it over the line in the end.
Yeah, I think that, you know, Marvel Snap winning the Mobile Game Awards is massive. It shows a lot to me because, I don't know, that I had no real indication of, you know, if Marvel Snap was, you know, doing really well or doing average. You know, there's lots of different opinions about it. But, I mean, this victory by second dinner, it's massive.
Yeah.
It kind of just shows that Marvel Snap is here to stay, I guess. That's what I take from it.
Huge award to get that in your like the first year of the game. It's a monumental effort and a very big congratulations to the team. Really, really cool. Now, did you see Ben Brode's suit at the event?
I didn't watch it, to be honest, so no, I didn't see his suit.
I will send you I'll make sure that you see it.
I can see it right here. Is he wearing like a half suit?
So the half flannelette shirt, I believe. Very Ben Brode. Well known for his flannelette shirts. So quite humorous. Oh, we've lost Justin. Of course we have. What would the podcast be without Justin freezing at the perfect moment? Look at the smile on his face.
No, I'm still
you're
here.
back. You're back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back now.
I was still here. I did not shut down.
That's so funny.
That smile's contagious.
Yeah. So I think it was quite a good move, and the fact that he got to I guess get the award and say a few words made it all the more funnier. It was a great costume choice for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never played the other games that it was up against, so I don't actually know like how good of games they are.
Yep.
That's a massive victory for Marvel Snap.
Genshin Impact is a freaking huge game. Like.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot about it.
I wonder what's their average players.
Question.
Yep.
Did you vote for Marvel Snap?
I did.
Oh, good stuff. I was scared you were going to say that you didn't.
No, I definitely did. I jumped on after the podcast with Ridiculous Hat and did that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, I lied. I didn't do it right after that. I forgot and then did it like a week later.
No, as long as you did it.
No, I definitely did vote. Did you vote for them?
I did vote for them.
Yeah,
yes.
which is cool. Player count.
There was a prompt in the news in the Marvel Snap app, which is how I got into it.
Yep.
They should really actually maybe they did for that. Maybe it popped up on screen. I think like a lot of the stuff in the news section of Marvel Snap, they could really, I don't know, bring it to our eyes or bring it to our attention a bit easier because I don't really click on that news section that often.
Yeah, I think it's interesting where it's actually placed. Because I kind of want to read the news, but I don't really actively look for it.
No, it's interesting, but when I'm clicking on the app, or when I'm clicking on the app, I click because I want to play the game.
Yeah, that's right.
Not because I want to read the news, but if it pops up in my face, then I will read it.
So Genshin Impact had 21 million registered users before the game was even released.
Wow.
And they currently have 65 million active players.
That is insane.
That's a big number, man.
Should I be playing this game?
There's currently 500,000 people playing right now.
Jeez.
it's a big game, man, and that's why I
That's
think
massive.
it's so impressive that Marvel Snap won.
Yeah.
I actually think you would like Genshin Impact, to be honest, but let's not get into that. Let's not get you addicted to another
Alright.
video game.
No. I almost downloaded. So you all know how I played Clash Royale for like quite a while.
We do now, yes.
Supercell have released like a mini Clash Royale game,
Oh,
and
no.
apparently it's really fun and really addicting. And
no.
I'm trying not to download it because I know that my time on mobile apps will have to split 50-50 between Marvel Snap and that new game.
Marvel Snap is losing Justin now. Nah, so cool. So yeah, really big congratulations, big win. Super cool. We'll go through a few meta decks before we get into everybody's favorite Marvel Snap quiz game, Snap Who. There's a ton of decks, that are playable, but we've got a few here that we will take a look at. We've already taken a look at the Surfer decks. We've got a She-Hulk deck here in tier 1. Of course, leaders in there, arrows in there. So She-Hulk costs 1 less for each unspent energy last turn. So I guess, are you playing Wave? No, next turn cards in both players' hands cost 4. Are you playing Wave and then She-Hulk? No, but yeah, Wave She-Hulk? No, you're playing Wave Death.
Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one, to be honest.
What enables She-Hulk?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Usually the She-Hulk decks that I've seen have like a Sunspot in them.
Or are you going Wave? My brain hurts.
Well, no. All right, so here's the play. All right. You do your usual destroy stuff.
Yes, of course.
Nova, Squirrel Girl, Bucky Barnes, Carnage, Deathlock, Killmonger.
Oh, I know. You played... yeah, you've got it. Yep.
On turn 3, you can wave and leader if you would like to, but you don't actually need to wave because on turn 5, if you don't play a card, but you have destroyed other multiple cards, then on turn 6, you can play a 6-cost leader, a 0 She-Hulk, and a 0 Death. That is insane.
No, you can't, because She-Hulk, you would have spent 5 energy.
Ooh.
No. You
have to wave on turn.
You have to go. You can go Death She-Hulk.
Yeah, you could go Death She-Hulk, but what's the point of that?
Death She-Hulk.
You would want to go leader Death.
You would want to go leader then Death. Oh, at the same time.
At the same time.
I mean, yeah, but could you not wave She-Hulk leader Death?
Yeah.
But then why would you wave She-Hulk?
It's a really interesting one. Maybe She-Hulk's just in there for, to fill some gaps. If you're not really doing anything on turn 4 or 5,
I guess this
you've got She-Hulk in hand.
I guess this is just like an air, like your usual like wave arrow deck with like She-Hulk in there now as your like extra 6 drop card.
Yeah.
I actually can't wrap my head around this one.
Yeah, not entirely sure.
No, me neither, to be honest. Chat. Why is She-Hulk now in Barrow? Turn 5 wave, keep 2 mana, so turn 6 She-Hulk for 2, Death for 0, and leader for 4. Yeah, that's right. That's the play.
Turn 5 wave, you keep 2 mana.
So 2. So She-Hulk now costs 4. Oh wait, why is She-Hulk 2?
She-Hulk is 2 because of wave.
Oh, yes. So She-Hulk's now 2. You can play leader for 4 and Death. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah,
We're on the right track. So yeah, you were right. Leader, She-Hulk, Death. Leader, She-Hulk, Death, but you need to play wave turn 5.
On turn 5.
And have Death get down to at least destroy 4 cards.
That's easy in like 4 turns.
Of course, 100%. That's pretty cracked, actually. Thank you, Mechabait, in chat. We're like sitting now. I don't have She-Hulk, so I haven't actually had a chance to try this out.
Same.
Which is going to be our experience for a lot of these decks, for a lot of the new cards, unfortunately. I feel like me and you need to coordinate so we don't buy the same cards.
Yeah.
Whatever you buy, I'll buy the other cards that you have.
What cards do you have so far?
So we can get a bit of... what do I have? I'd have to actually have a look. I've got... I keep pinning stuff and then I change my mind. I was going to get Absorbing Man and then I changed my mind. We'll discuss it after the show. I'm actually trying to think what I actually have.
Have you not bought any?
I bought a 4, I think. No, I've got a tumor. I unlocked a tumor.
Ah, trash.
I got that on the collector's cases, and I got one other card.
That's all right.
I'm trying to think. What's the other? I have another pool 5 card, I think. No,
I have no idea.
I was gonna buy. I keep pinning things like Valkyrie, and then I change my mind. Then I think I pinned Bast, and then I changed my mind. I have to have a look. I think I might have bought Absorbing Man and then not used it. I'll have a look.
Fair enough. Interesting.
So we've got. So that's pretty much all the tier 1 decks. You've got Seracle, which is, I guess, kind of like just the Bast deck without Silver Surfer, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
It's interesting because I think, from what I've heard, Bast with Mysterio.
Yep.
The illusions become 3.
Interesting.
And Mysterio becomes 4 because when you play them, you actually play them all as illusions.
Are like, yes.
Yeah, which are 3 powered.
Which makes sense.
And then the actual Mysterio becomes 4.
Yep.
Even the Mr. Sinister, like it's not much, but he goes to a 3 power and then it creates a 3 powered clone, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is actually pretty cool. We've got Patriot in here, which Patriot's been a decent deck for a while with Ultron. Great deck, good fun. You've played it, I've played it. Not too much to say about that. I feel like we've spoken about that deck to death. It's just a cool Patriot deck. We've got Deadpool in here. Deadpool already, like, we've spoken a bunch about Deadpool, but we've got Bast in here now to give all these low-powered cards some buffs. And we've got Shuri in here.
And Shuri.
Which is pretty nuts because Venom could go pretty crazy.
And then Taskmaster and Arnim Zola.
Like so it's pretty much just like making Deadpool better, which I mean is cool. It's a fun deck. And then we've also got, we've got this Zero deck.
If you scroll down on this page, it goes through all of them.
What do you mean?
It'll go through all the decks.
We're not going to go through all of them.
No, you don't have to go through all of them.
Oh, you're just saying we can like roll through them like this?
You can actually look through them.
Yeah, rather than flicking through them.
Back and forth.
This is another Galactus Destroyer deck, which we kind of discussed. Getting Galactus, cheating out Galactus early, and then playing something like Destroyer or Death, Hobgoblin, Professor X. So basically just making sure that you win your Galactus location. Spider-Man.
Deck, but you kind of need Galactus, I feel like.
And I feel like
you can get by without it because of Professor X and Destroyer, but I feel like you just need to draw Galactus.
I feel like, and if you play Galactus, your opponent just goes, yeah, bye, and just retreats. Like, I feel like people aren't... I don't think people are hanging around when Galactus comes out on turn 5.
No. It happened to me one time, though, and, like, it was the greatest thing. Seeing that Galactus come down and that animation, and I had already filled that location where they played Galactus. Insane.
So pretty cool Galactus deck. Patriot never disappoints. Facts. Zero. So we've got now Zero with Shuri. Of course, you can play Red Skull and Typhoid Mary, double their power. Pretty cool. Zero and
Titania.
Yep. You like this
pretty
card?
Cool card.
Yeah.
I don't really know. It seems a bit annoying when someone plays Titania. I mean, I've never had it played against me, but I've seen some videos. Just like you really, really have to think about what's going to happen at that location.
Yep. But again, so we're using Shuri to buff this. So this is just like, it's cool because we've just got archetypes that already exist and we're just adding things to them now.
Yeah, I feel like it's made the game, these Series 4 and 5 cards have made the game a lot more exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm enjoying it a lot more. I'm playing it a lot more.
And I think just by scrolling through this, you're seeing some outliers, Shuri, Bast. You're seeing cards that are showing up a lot. Silver Surfer. So I think it gives you a bit of an indication on the better cards. And then we've got Ongoing Destroyer. I mean, this deck's been around since last season. Fun deck, cool deck. It's Spectrum Destroyer is kind of a newer thing though. Like I wouldn't say it's a classic.
Actually, it's not a classic.
It's a blend of two classic decks, I guess, the Destroyer deck and the Ongoing deck. But fun deck nonetheless. So that's kind of the top tier decks at the moment. Of course, a lot of pool 3 cards. And then this is a great resource. I will actually link this and all the stuff we've spoken about on our Twitter at Infinite Snap Pod. I'll link this website, Marvel Snap Zone, and this actual page because their tier lists are actually really, really helpful. They also show a bunch of budget decks. So for newer players, you'll be able to find a a good deck to climb the ladder with. So great resource, Marvel Snap Zone. Thanks for all the work that they are doing with their articles, deck lists, keeping up to date with all the latest news. Very, very cool. Okay, so the last thing that we have before Marvel Snap is actually, this is a little bonus. Martin Garrix dropped his song Hero, and we spoke about this last week. We got a little hint from Marvel Snap's Twitter hinting at this collab. Justin, have you seen the music video?
I've seen the music video, and I just want to say props to you because you called it. You did predict.
What did I call?
Oh, that they were going to collab on a song.
Oh, it had to be. What else could it have been?
I guess so. I don't know. I did watch it though. Cool animation,
So cool.
and good song. It's catchy.
It was. I'm not a some Martin Garrix fanboy or anything. So like it was, when I listened to it, I was just like, you know what, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't expecting it to be like this, like amazing song, but it was super catchy. Visuals were really, really cool. The artwork was great. Cool collab. Can't complain. I think it was great.
Cool collab, and I love that they're making the animation into variants now. Like that just seems like a good marketing idea.
How cool is it? Sick collab. I thought it was a great idea. Props to everyone involved with it. It was fun. Cool song. I played the song for my wife. She's like, hey, this is pretty cool. Which was sick. All right, guys. So, man, we got through a ton of stuff today. New cards, new decks, tier lists, collector's tokens, the premium resource of Marvel Snap these days. And Marvel Snap winning the Mobile Game Awards. I'm still reeling about how that happened. So
Insane.
Cool. I will definitely send you the acceptance speech. You have to check it out. Okay.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
It is now time for Snap Who. If you haven't heard Snap Who, guys, it is the best Marvel Snap quiz. Today we're going to be showing a location on screen if you're watching the video version of the podcast. But if not, I'm going to be describing this location. I'm going to have to guess the name of the location and the ability of the location. It's a Marvel Snap location. Justin has chosen it for me this week. Let's see how I go. So that is the image there. All right, Justin, why'd you pick this one, I guess?
So I felt like I feel like I'm really good at this game. The two locations that you have given me, I've got all points for all.
Yep.
And you're just trash. So I thought, you know what? This is a location that I see quite often.
Oh, okay.
There's a bit of a hint for you. It comes up quite often. It's not rare. And I feel like if I saw it, I would get it. So I thought,
all right,
I'd give you a chance.
Oh, thank you. Very kind of you.
Describe it to us.
So, guys, it's like a blue room. It's like indoors. There's like a bunch of robots. They look like they're kind of like animal robots. They kind of look like they have like guns. Like fully blue room. Like a lab sort of thing. Like guns. Like they kind of all seem to be like congregating, like they're gonna attack. I'm trying to think. Maybe what's like bad? Something bad, shooting, death. You're in the building. Don't tell me if it's right. I'm just thinking. I think it might be Danger Room. And I'm trying to think what Danger Room actually does. Danger Room. It destroys cards. Oh, I know what this is because I freaking hate this location because it never ever works in my favor. This is Danger Room. The ability is 25% chance that it destroys the card played there. Because every time I play cards here, my opponents never get destroyed, but mine always do 100% of the time. So the actual ability is fake news. It's Danger Room, 25% chance of destroying a card played there.
Are you sure you want to look that in?
Yeah, blue. It's a blue location. It has to be it. No, it is. Yeah, lock it in.
Ding.
Yes!
2 points.
Yes! Finally.
Good
Man.
stuff.
You know what? Thank you, because this was an easier one because it's been in the game since I started playing it.
Yeah, it was an easier one, but
I've seen it
again,
enough.
like
It's so
when you only
hard,
see
man.
when you only see the picture, it's kind of right. Like
It's really hard.
looks a bit different. You haven't seen the text. You're like, what is this?
Chat got it. Drugor got it in chat. Very good. 25% chance.
Picked it up in chat.
So the actual wording, is that the actual wording? A 25% chance of a card getting destroyed?
The actual wording is cards played here have a 25%
chance of being destroyed. Justin froze again. Yeah, that makes sense. So Danger finally got one. I've been I really struggle with locations. So the biggest issue I have with like card games and things like this is I read the card, like I read the card's ability. I know what the picture looks like, but I never know the name of the card ever. I 100% forget the name of the card every single time.
I'm back.
Yeah. So like I see locations and I know what they do, but I never ever know what the name of things are. Like Marvel Snap's easy because the cards are actual characters, but when it's like a card game and the character is like, it's just it's a name of a card, I just never ever remember the name.
And I feel like I was looking through some of the locations just before, and some of them are extremely hard to pronounce. And I was like, if you gave this location to me, even if I could guess what it says, I would never be able to guess the title.
Love it. That's so great.
I feel like we could do locations for a bit more, but if Marvel Snap if Second Dinner keep bringing out cards once a week, man, we could even go back to heroes or characters. What do we call them? Cards.
Oh, I guess we could go back
to cards.
I guess I guess 3-6 months down the line, we could probably maybe go back to cards, or we could mix it up and like you get one card 1 week, a location the week after, for sure. Love finding new ways to spice up Snap Who. Guys, thank you so much for joining us this week. We got through a ton of stuff this week. There was actually tons to talk about. Some great discussion about the bundles. I thought that was probably the hot topic in my mind. I kind of wanted to just get, I guess, our opinion on them. And I mean, they're probably going to change in the future. We're going to see how the bundles, change. I feel like they're not just going to be like, hey, we're just going to throw out random bundles with random prices. I found it interesting, some are gold, some are real, actual money. It's an interesting mix. We'll see what happens there. Justin, thanks so much for joining us. Any last words for the viewers and listeners?
Not really, to be honest. I just think everyone should be saving up their gold to spend on these cool as and expensive as bundles, but also really save up your tokens and really pick which cards you want to buy.
For sure.
It's pretty important. I bought Luke Cage at one stage and used him for half a day and have not touched him since. Not to say that I won't use him in the future, but major regrets.
Justin, are you a corporate plant just shilling for people to buy bundles?
Yeah, you guys should definitely buy bundles. Nah, joke. I will only buy bundles with gold that I earn in game.
Interesting. Okay.
Anyway.
We'll see if that changes down the line. I feel like there's going to be a cool variant that you're like, yep, I'll buy it.
They may be able to entice me with the best Deadpool variant you've ever seen.
What if they say, hey Justin, here's 10,000 collector's tokens?
No, I don't want to unlock every card. That's not what I want to do.
I love it. Guys, again, if you use Twitter at InfiniteSnapPod on Twitter, we'll be uploading all the decks and all the links to things we discussed today. Guys, thanks so much for listening as always. Thank you, chat. If you want to join us with the live chat, we are live on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. If you jump on the YouTube, ShadowDTV is where we stream the podcast. You can see in your local time zone when we are live. Guys, thank you so much, and we'll catch you in the next episode. See yas.
Bye.